Good evening, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, ATL By Night. Chapter 4, The Blood of the Canvas. Let's welcome back our vampires.
My name is Leona Rohr, and I'll be playing Tomasina Elena Cuesta.
Zachary Vaudo playing Anton Krovopolskov.
Brittany Trambauer-Smith playing Melisanda.
My name is Tyler Sutherland, playing Aaron Ulrich.
And I am your storyteller, Ellie Collins. As always, a big thank you to the Neighborhood Studio for giving us our wonderful home here. And why don't we sit back and relax, and let's tell a vampire story. When last we saw our kindred, they got to experience their first ever Camarilla audit from an interesting Malkavian simply known as the Council. Tomasina, having had experience with them before, advised the coterie to just be truthful and go along with whatever they said. Aaron, however, almost gave up the truth of the Renasherie Camarilla and the election for the prince, though his coterie covered for him. Then came the house inspection, where the council discovered a few interesting aspects of the house. The coterie held it together pretty well, and the council informed them that they did fantastic for their first audit, and set out to audit the rest of the city, which is now a very stressful time for everyone in our play-by-post RP server on Discord. But tonight, as the dust has settled from the audit for now, and now it's the night of the art gala at the High Museum, a traveling show of French and Spanish paintings, and Alpha has invited the Shepherds and a few local prominent kindred to be in attendance. The rumor is that the woman who owns the collection is kindred, and so the desire to show off Atlanta's kindred society is large. So you all have arrived tonight to the second level of the Stent family wing, and the gathering is already in full swing, kindred and kind alike, and all milling about, viewing the art, conversing. Alpha is going about and appears to be speaking to very specific people intentionally, likely fellow kindred. What would you all like to do as you have entered this party?
Oh, I would like to just mill around for a little bit and see if there's... I haven't seen most of the other Ventru for a little while, so I'm going to try and find any of my own, if they're there.
There's a couple here. A couple that you recognize. They're just sort of, holding a glass of champagne that they have suspiciously not touched. And just kind of talking with people, even talking with some that they likely have business deals with.
Is Tabitha anywhere in attendance that I can see?
Tabitha is not in attendance.
Right.
Are any of the art... What's the age of the art pieces?
They kind of vary in age. Most of them are around at least 150 years old, some going as old as 400 to 500.
Are there any that are French that I would recognize from my time?
Why don't you roll Wits and Awareness?
Oh, yeah. All right. Sorry, I always have to remind myself here. Okay. 6. Okay. That counts as 2, right? Oh, wait, it was this one.
Oh, you got 2.
That count.
If you have 2 criticals,
1,
it counts
2.
as 4.
So you have a messy critical?
Yep.
Okay. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Okay.
7 messy grit.
7 messy grit. Wonderful.
Oh, goodness.
As you are looking around, a painting catches your eye, but not because you recognize the painting. You recognize the scenery. And as you step closer, you begin to recognize the people in the painting, particularly yourself. But from another life, another time, a different face. Happier times.
Which time was this? Can you remind me, like, which of the many revolutions was it? What locale?
It is a painting around the time of the French Revolution, but it is one just of casual common folk enjoying their day.
That sounds about right. I'm going to linger there for a little while. By myself.
Okay, if you could please make me composure and resolve.
Okay. 3. Let's see if we can get another good roll like the last one.
Let's see how well you can hold together seeing this art piece.
Oh, that's not good. So 1, 2.
Just 2.
Okay, so 2.
For the rest of you, if you're anywhere near Mel, she is noticeably quite taken with the art piece, but only in a hyperfixation kind of way.
Didn't know that she was this entranced by paintings.
I'm gonna just kind of head back over there and just like noticing that they're not really following me and just kind of going like, sorry, what?
Oh, Mel is very taken in by this one piece. She seemed more of a written word kind of person. I wasn't aware that she was so into painting. But she has not taken her eyes off this particular one.
You don't see why?
Are we close enough to see why?
So you guys would have no clue what it is that she sees in this picture.
Right.
As Mel, this is a look that you have not had for many years, a completely different face, different hair, different clothes.
No idea. She just walked over and then she hasn't moved. Just
Sometimes there's older things that remind us of a different time. It happens every now and again. It can be overwhelming.
You think she is familiar with this painting?
I think she's familiar with a style, or maybe it's just a general look. It can happen.
Thomasina, how much, for how long, do you remember? That's a long time to keep track of.
Ventrus, as a rule, are both bound and educated to hold a great deal of memory. Our legacy is very much our power. So anything that we can do in regards to keeping a good, close track on our memories and the legacies and memories of others is to our benefit. So yes, I remember a lot.
And so will you guys continue walking around?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, at some point, pull out my flip phone,
Mm-hmm.
texting the number I received the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Give me time, no surprises, or I'll eat you.
Okay.
And I'll send that.
All right, you get a text back near immediately that just has an emoji with a...
Okay, that's the best I can do.
Yeah, I'll walk around with the others a bit and like just sort of like, if Mel has not moved still, just slowly like arc in her direction to see what is so damn interesting about this painting.
Just a beautiful portrait of townspeople going about their daily life, very slice of life style art. French.
Bit of calm in the current climate.
I'm sorry.
The painting, you have not moved from it for a bit. I was actually talking with the others about it.
Oh, yeah. Reminds me of home.
Was this your home? I mean, not this particular scene, but the location, the subject.
You could say that.
He's nice. He looks rustic.
Storyteller, is it, what time of day is it in the painting?
In the painting, it is probably mid-dusk. It looks to be like kind of a, not festival, but a joyous evening gathering.
He's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they had photographs by the time I was alive and kicking, so I don't have to have the painting, but it's interesting to see an interpretation for that, yeah?
I have many very vivid memories from that time of my life. This is just one of the better ones.
It looks like it.
I'm glad you got to find it then.
Me too. And can I find somebody who's potentially brought it here? Like, is it, I know it's not available for sale, but is there somebody I could try to get it from?
So the woman who owns the collection, her name is Dolores Canberg, and she's around because she's the one leading the tour of the exhibit. It is the private collection of a couple that's just a elderly rich couple. They're not here, but Dolores is kind of the caretaker of the collection.
Okay.
And she is the one that is rumored to be kindred.
Okay. Will I know who she is? Do I at this point?
You wouldn't know her on sight.
Okay. Well, I would love to own this, but wouldn't know where to begin with who to get it from.
The good news is we have space for it above the fireplace now.
To say the least. I'm not sure about... I don't know if this is that kind of exhibit, but I mean...
But there can always be negotiations.
Imagine.
Everything can be bought for the right price.
Correct.
Now you sound like her.
Happens living together.
Learn from the best.
And so a woman starts walking up to you all, nondescript. You wouldn't know her from Adam's house cat. And she just walks up and gives you all a wide smile. Says, "How are you guys enjoying tonight?"
So far, so good. It's just a beginning. We haven't really had a chance to browse further.
Figured I'd show up as well. Alpha's not wrong. We could all use a night out.
Am I recognizing the voice?
Yes, it is Dot Matrix.
Yes.
That is definitely Dot. That is Dot Matrix.
You know, I... Just saying.
Do we recognize,
Would we recognize that's Dot?
Yes.
Yeah.
You definitely recognize the voice, but Dot has masked her appearance.
Sure.
Is it okay?
I'm not used to seeing you so done up.
This is far more clothes than I normally wear.
I was being polite.
Thank you. No, I figured this is a supposed one of us that is touring this collection. I don't like people coming into town I don't know.
Understandable.
Extremely.
Does Alpha know this person?
He's met with them, but since they're touring, they don't have to properly present to him as they are passing through on kind business.
Just announce.
He's here, though. He's walking around. I'm sure he'll leave with some unfortunate human by the end of the night.
Still, though, how long have you been here? Just milling around?
Probably about 30 minutes.
Anything fascinating?
Something I think you'll find particularly fascinating, fellow Harpy.
Do tell.
Towards the back wall. And keep a straight face. And she turns around and walks away.
All right, I will keep a straight face and go over there.
I'm going to go with.
I am following immediately with the most
Scooby-Doo time,
rapt
guys.
curiosity.
And so as you all walk over, Thomasina, you spot it immediately. If the three of you could give me wits and awareness.
Sure.
I'll do my 7 first, and then I'll let you
No
go
worries.
at it.
You go. I have much fewer.
1, 2, 3. I got 3.
I also got 3.
So like I said, it's 2.
It's not hard to tell. A big portrait with a gilded golden frame around it of a lady getting dressed, Spanish era, with her handmaidens around her. One of them is none other than Thomasina Elena Cuesta,
One of the handmaidens?
one of the women in the room,
Okay,
in the painting.
gotcha.
And it is a remarkable likeness that anyone else in this room could easily pick up on.
Good likeness.
Might not be a bad idea to go ahead and slip that hood on now.
Might look a bit more suspicious, but
This is the high.
I have kept this name for over 200 years. I've kept this face just as long. I'm not about to let this be anything other than a wonderful likeness, and it still is.
it is quite a coincidence, is it not?
Yes.
So-
I would say it's a coincidence considering that painting that I was standing at had me in it.
Did it?
I didn't see you in it,
No, you didn't.
but
We're going to,
yet
though.
you were.
I was.
There is a gap in this thought train that perhaps you can fill.
Maybe another time. But I
Ah.
can say that is disconcerting.
That is disconcerting.
And I think we need to speak with our prince.
Let's speak with the collector, you and I. Gentlemen, could we potentially get you to find our prince?
Can do.
We certainly can.
If we're able to find the collector and they're able to mitigate a situation while we're getting a little intel, that might be worthwhile, don't you think?
I think if we meet with the collector and they are not kindred, as we are certain that they are, and then they see your face, having very good recollection of this collection, it could be bad.
If that is the case, just come find me.
We have phones. We didn't then, we do now.
All right.
If that is the case, come find me and I will handle it.
Do we not think that them having
I'd like to
pictures-
see their face first. They've clearly seen mine enough times.
All right, lead the way.
And I'm going to just go. Are there door people, ushers, or anything like that?
Yeah, there are ushers.
Okay. I'm just going to try and find. Or is there anyone who's is there a list of any kind of people being let in?
There is no formal list. It is simply by word of mouth invitation. The people who are invited there know that the exhibit is open now. It is similar to many high exhibits where they do like a pre-show, and there's not a specific guest list. It's just those who know.
All right. I'm going to try and find someone just at the door and just say, I'm really, really sorry. This is...
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. This is an embarrassing question. But I just wanted to kind of ask, do you know, who actually brought all of this here?
Oh, the curator of
Right.
this exhibit. Yes, that is Miss Camberg. She is... Oh, where'd she go? She's right over there. The long hair, graying, purple dress, cardigan. That's her.
I'm going to just, point to the wrong person, obviously. That one?
No, to the one talking to the guy in
Right.
the green blazer.
Got it. Thanks. I'm just going to turn around, just reface, and then just let's... Come on. And we're going to head towards Miss Camberg.
All right. So now, guys,
Yeah,
you guys are heading to find Alpha.
almost. I'm letting them go. I'm putting some pieces. Anton's putting some pieces together on the conversation we just had and some previous further back stuff. Just.
You all right?
Connecting dots on what Mel wishes to tell about another time. It is no difficult. It is no easy feat to keep yourself looking different over the years. You need particular friends for that. He's curious. It's a lot more difficult than changing your hair color.
I imagine. had this beard for years. Can't shake it. It won't grow either.
I know somebody that can help you with that. But
There's no pink. Everything else is fine.
we will talk about it. In the meantime, as the ladies have requested,
Gotcha. Yep, looking for Alpha. If he doesn't stand out, I'm going to start asking.
He is in a very nice silver toned suit with a black t-shirt underneath the blazer instead of a dress shirt. And he's talking with a couple people that you can clock from this far away are indeed kindred. But a couple of them seem to have human dates with them.
Gotcha.
And he's just having fun chatting.
Do I see any Garu?
None that you recognize.
Okay. I'll point out Alpha.
do you wish to go intercept him, or should we try to get his attention?
It's probably easier if we approach him.
Very fair.
Start walking my way over there.
Yeah, I'll just follow behind Aaron, just looking at the crowd of people, just getting a sense of who's around.
While
Okay.
we're walking, I'm going to flick on Oblivion Sight.
Mm-hmm.
Are any art pieces haunted?
One of the art pieces does have a presence standing beside it.
Okay. Just going to take a note of that. And turn it off.
It wasn't a malevolent presence, just one that was there.
Gotcha. It's good to know. And approach Alpha.
Okay. Are you calling his attention or are you standing nearby?
I will stand in his eyesight
Okay.
and just wave over.
You know, just line up with Aaron. Just,
And he just looks around and goes, "Oh, hey! 1 second. How you guys doing tonight?"
doing well.
Thank you for the invite. It's
Yeah!
not my usual venue.
No, it's not mine either.
Not
But,
mine anymore.
whoever this is real highfalutin. So I figured we might as well show out a little bit.
Very true. Have you met this person yet?
I said hi to her. She's real nice. I still can't get a beat on her, though.
Very good. Hopefully our compatriots have found her, but we were hoping to make things a little bit easier on possible acquisition of some of the collection.
You want to buy art?
The members of our group do.
All right.
Some very personal pieces.
Okay, I'm going to pretend like I knew what that meant. Having fun at least?
Yeah. Getting out of the house is always good.
Yeah.
It's always a little bit uncomfortable coming back, but it is
Oh,
nice.
yeah, this must be real fucking weird for you.
But it is nice to be back.
Yeah, that's why Olivia's not here.
Understandably.
She, from my understanding, something happened with Elijah here and she'd prefer to never set foot in this place again, even though I could really use somebody with art expertise to make me seem like I know shit.
Do you just need somebody whispering in your ear, or do you need a couple of pointers?
No, she's real effervescent. She would do all the talking and I wouldn't have to do shit.
Very fair.
I gotta pretend like I know what the hell these are right now.
Just with a quick look around with my knowledge of history, I just want to see if there's like a few things around that I can just quickly point out of like this is this.
And he's just
Yeah.
there's a few that you recognize and
Yeah.
you tell him and he is not processing it.
Not interested.
Like, look, son, I already called it the Louvre tonight. I think I'm good.
That was a very fair point. My apologies.
Yeah.
Should we require a bit more persuasion on acquiring the pieces that the others are interested in? Could we possibly find you?
Yeah, just let me know.
Much appreciated.
I can't guarantee I'll get you shit, but maybe the prince would like it might help you.
To say the least.
Yeah.
How's everything settling in, if I may ask?
Oh yeah, I'm doing great.
Very good.
Doing great. Got an office, nobody knows where the fuck it is, and that's how it's gonna stay.
Makes sense to me.
Got me a fake office because people keep wanting to have fucking meetings with me for some reason.
Well, it is part of the job. There usually is a centralized location, such as this was.
Yeah, no, I just like when people keep to themselves. Anyway.
The elder that we brought in here last time, or that you brought in,
Angelina.
how is she holding up?
She's doing good as far as I can tell. She's already trying to get in contact with people over at Krog Street to try and do preservation photography or some shit every time before they paint over it, so that we have so that Lana's got a record book of the history of Krog Street Tunnel year by year.
A woman after my own heart.
Yeah, she's real dedicated to art. I appreciate it.
Let us know if there's any other big or small favors we can help with.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing with the lost childer. That shit's helping out tons.
That's the plan, yes?
Is there, this is politics, is there any plans to change that policy going forward?
Which one?
The hiring freeze, how we collect childer.
I figure I'm trusting you lot with the childer part. Hiring freeze, I'm leaving in effect for right now.
Gotcha.
Makes sense until we get an idea of what we are dealing with still. It is,
Yeah, because for all we fucking know, we open up a sewer over on one of the 8 peach trees and we find 30 of them.
Very fair. Very fair.
Thank you.
Yeah, have fun. Meet people. Take someone home. I don't give a shit.
We shall see.
All right, have fun.
Thank you. I'll step back and just survey crowd and just be like, okay, now what?
And go back to socializing. So, ladies,
Yes.
are you guys heading straight over to Dolores?
I'm gonna head. Is Dolores surrounded by some folks, or just got people
Yeah,
outside?
she's got people around her. Looks like old money kind of people. Probably inquiring about the collection, inquiring about her. She looks to be not amused with the conversations. She's just very much like, You know, everybody at an art museum.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are they nearby one of the paintings right now?
They're kind of in... The setup of the room is that there are paintings along the walls, and then there are mid-walls. So she's kind of in one of the more open areas with the seats.
Okay. I'm going to just kind of go over with Tamel and just say, just follow my lead. And I'm going to go over and I'm just going to take off the heels that I'm wearing and just kind of look and just there's something in here. It's just right in my foot. It's just right in the heel. So give me a second. I'm going to be a little obnoxious about trying to bang my shoe on the seat. Does it get her attention?
Yes, it does. She turns around pretty quickly and just, oh my. Do you need assistance?
It's just a stupid shoe. There's been something in it for I don't even know how long, and I just finally need to get it out.
Oh, here, let me see. I'll check for a rock.
And I'll go ahead and hand her the shoe.
Okay. And she takes the shoe and she kind of digs in it a bit, and you see the people looking at her. She goes, oh, stop it. She goes, oh, there you go. I don't know if that was it, but tiny little pebble. Here you go.
I'll take it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What is your name?
Tommy. Sorry.
Lovely to meet you. And yours?
I'm Melanie.
Melanie. Lovely. Are you guys enjoying the exhibit?
It's a really exquisite collection. You must have been at this for a while.
Oh, not me, the owners. I simply do the touring show. They trust me to take care of it.
Gotcha. Who are the owners?
It's a elderly couple, the Freemans.
The Freemans? Okay.
They're from, oh God, somewhere northeast.
Oh, wow. So they're just the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the kind of, we retired out on a yacht kind of people. So they just like to purchase art that they don't need and then send it all out in some kind of voyeuristic pleasure that people get to look at all their money.
Well, I'm so sorry to bother you further.
It's not a bother at all. You're actually saving me from horribly droll conversation.
Would you like to take a little bit of a walk along further and just...
Sure, I would love to.
Perfect. And just as we kind of walk by, I'm going to try and just kind of take small jabs at some of the, joking jabs at some of the things there and just try and get a laugh out of her a little bit.
Oh yeah, she gives a few giggles every now and then. Just, you'll say something, she just goes, yes.
Yeah. It's It's been a while since we've actually seen some of these pieces. We've seen one or two, though, actually, before. I know Melanie here is fond of a couple of the French pieces, and there's one or two of the Spanish I recognize.
Oh, yes, they've acquired them over time, so I'm sure you may have seen them in a previous exhibit.
I'm curious, what is their taste? Why curate in this sort of way? There's a loose thread between all of these pieces, but not anything that really holds them together.
They married in Paris and honeymooned in Spain, and pretty much that's been their entire collection the whole time.
It's a fine pairing.
They're very old money.
I can tell. Are you fond of any particular piece?
I'm fond of all of them in their own special ways. Was there one that you had particular questions about?
There was actually, and I'm going to head over to the one with Mel in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, yes. I love this one. Beautiful cityscape.
yeah. What's, is this Rouen, or is this Orléans, or...
No, and she proceeds to rattle off a lot of details of just an independent artist. She kind of gives you the impression that a lot of these paintings are not by known artists, and that's how this couple acquired so many originals
Sure.
in such a short span of time. And she just says, and that's why they're all lovely art, and honestly I like for people to see things that are different than what they see in every single art exhibit ever. Oh, French painters, let me guess. So, but they like collecting originals more than they care about collecting names. So everything here is an original.
Seems like it. Do you happen to recognize any of the scene? Or, I'm sorry, do you happen to... Does it look familiar? Does it strike up any particular familial feelings with you?
Oh, have you been to Paris?
I have.
Paris. Oh, yeah.
I spent a significant amount of time there, yes.
Oh, wonderful. It's a beautiful city. I do enjoy any time I get to go.
Been a few times myself.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
It really is.
The people, I could take or leave, but the scenery is beautiful.
Mel is like really uncomfortable and like
Visibly?
largely visibly
Yeah, so
like
if you could
Scooby-Doo level uncomfortable.
if you could make me composure and resolve.
Yeah, there's no way it's not, yeah. Okay, so that's 4. That's 4 out of 5.
So because Thomasina is your friend, she can tell that you are
Yes.
very uncomfortable, but Dolores has no idea.
Okay.
And there's actually, Dolores, there's another one.
Yes.
I'm a bit of an art freak, so sorry.
It's perfectly fine. I love discussing art with others.
Yeah, composition's a little weird on this one. It looks modern in a way. And I'm going to take her over to the one with me.
Okay. You walk over, she goes, yes, this one I've always found fascinating. It almost looks like a snapshot of somebody's life, and yet oil. Already been dated back.
And do you know the date on this one?
Oh, let me check. And she kind of goes down and checks the card, and she comes back to you with the year, which is a familiar year for you, and the artist. You recognize the name.
Mm-hmm.
You were there the day it was painted.
Mm-hmm. Well, this, I suppose it more comes down, to the sense of realism that they wanted. It's,
Yes.
As you say, a snapshot.
I appreciate ones like these, and the one you were fond of earlier. I prefer ones that look more true to life than a posed portrait. You know, there's 1,000 women standing in a Mona Lisa pose looking bored as hell, but it's rare that you find ones that capture life quite like this.
Are there collections that you're fond of that are just not here?
Oh goodness, yes. I'm fond of tons of paintings.
You've been doing this a long time.
Decently long. I'm in my late 60s now, though a lady should never share her age, but we're among friends here.
Yes.
I've probably been doing this maybe 30 years now.
Oh, wow, that is a long time. Is there anyone who's been with you who's been doing it longer, or has it just been on your own steam?
I like to stay on my own. It keeps me from being too tied down to a museum. I can work with the pieces I want to work with when it's only me.
Mm.
And that's why I become a personal collection tour guide, because the Freemans hire me to do this for this year, and maybe some other rich ingenue hires me for another year to tour about some MoMA pieces that they purchased with Daddy's money.
Mm.
Either way, I get to showcase art that I care about.
Of course, of course. Well, this is going to be a strange request. I know that this composition, as I said, it looks almost modern, almost out of place, but would they be willing to part with it?
With this one,
Yes.
I could probably make a phone call. It shouldn't be too late up in Maine right now.
Also, the other one that we were looking at.
The other one as well.
Yes, I'm very fond.
I can go make a phone call right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.
And I'll go ahead and give her my number, just to say, like, if, they're not sure yet and you want to reach back out to us, then just, here's that.
Oh yes, I can absolutely do that. Thank you so much. I'll go check with them. It's not often we get offers for purchase on the collections, so I'll go give them a call right quick. Enjoy yourselves.
I'll reach out my hand to shake hers.
And she goes to shake your hand,
No.
and you do notice that her hand is just as icy cold as yours, letting you know she is indeed kindred.
What? Okay.
Excellent to meet you, Miss. It was Camden, or
Canberg.
Camberg. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll either be right back or I'll give you a call.
Absolutely. Thanks so
Excellent.
much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. All right. And she scuttles off towards like one of the hallways that leads to the offices.
Right.
She's kindred.
Got it.
I'm not sure why
No, I
the
agree.
cloak and dagger, but we're kindred too, and I would have assumed that Alpha would have said something about
While there's
it.
still kine around here, it's a caution. But there is a through line here, like you said, that I am uncomfortable with.
I would venture to guess that there might be some other potentially recognizable pieces here that might pertain to somebody else we know.
Can I also say, do you genuinely want that painting?
Well, yes, of course.
Okay. I'm happy to part with that one. Always was. But there is a slight chance that we may have better luck in just getting the information and not necessarily the painting. But if we can, I will make sure that we get it.
Are the phones that we were given in this season, or once we got the new phones, do they have cameras on them?
Yes they do.
All right.
You all have smartphones. It's only Erin that has the
Okay,
flip phone.
that's right. Okay. Well, if all else fails, I will take a picture with our modern devices that I was never able to do
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Do you remember the first time you had a camera?
I didn't have one for a very long time.
Neither
I
did
didn't
I.
really run in the circles where cameras were well used. I knew some journalists. I had a chance to see them, but I never really used them. Photographing historical evidence wasn't really a part of my job.
No.
It was more being the history.
I was friends with more than a few earlier owners of daguerreotypes, and
I'm sure
those
you
were those were not the muckety mucks. Those were men in back alleys doing things with those cameras that they're doing with them now. So,
But they're not doing them in back alleys anymore.
oh yes, they are.
But they're also doing them
They're not-
inside basements and,
They're not developing them anymore. That's mostly for sure.
That's fair.
But yeah. Huh.
There has to be a reason why they're both here.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
Let's find the guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna go find the guys.
And so, during this time you guys have had this conversation, Anton, while you were walking around, can you please make me wits awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm pulling those, when we were walking, did we have a chance to actually see them with?
Yes, you
Cameron?
did. You did see them talking with Dolores.
Okay, I'll make wits awareness, and then depending on that, I'll do something else.
Okay.
One
Oh.
success on wits
Never
awareness.
mind.
It's the worst.
So at which point, I'd say once we see them, talking to the person about the painting. Just gonna stop Erin for a second, and I want to scry the soul on. I want to scry the soul on her, but like I just kind of want to, just for the hell of it, because there's a mix of people here. I want to do a general like crowd scry of like who is what.
Okay.
So.
So make that appropriate roll.
Yep. I get hungrier by a lot.
Oh, no.
Your stomach growls
Oh,
a
no.
bit.
And
What hunger are you at right now, Anton?
3.
Mm.
1. I'm gonna burn a 2. I'm gonna burn a willpower. I knocked 1. So 5 successes.
5 successes.
Yeah.
You pretty much get a good handle on the room's about half kindred, half kine. Some of the kine are standing with kindred, likely as dates, or a couple of the kine kind of read to you as ghouls.
Mm-hmm. And this one in particular that they're talking to?
Kindred.
Okay, so. Well, there's that. That's that settled.
What'd you get?
She is one of us, as suspected, so perhaps not as big of an issue as we were thinking. Yeah, I'm just gonna like just sort of like do like a lazy 360 scan of whoever is in eyesight. at that
Okay,
point.
give me another wits and awareness roll.
Okay.
Since now you're looking through the scry.
And more actively.
Yes. And with the scry, give yourself 1 bonus dice.
Okay. Oh. Cocked. 2 successes.
Rough night.
It's a lot of red dice.
Through the kind that you can see, there is a very familiar elderly woman. Somebody very, very important to you. Tamika.
How far away is she?
She's probably about 3 groups of people away from you on the opposite side of the room.
Looking in this direction or not?
No, she's busy in conversation with her little purse clutched up. She must be, goodness, in her early 80s by now.
She would be.
Can you please make a composure and resolve roll?
There's all my successes, but 8 messy critical.
So you're holding it together almost too well. Your physical demeanor is fine, but your eyes are 10 miles wide. And Aaron, you do notice that whatever it is, Anton's fine, but clearly not fine.
All right. I'll literally just wave my hand in front of your eyes and... Do we need to leave?
No.
Do we need to go wherever? And I'll look over. I don't see anything.
Yeah, all you see are people.
I don't know.
I'll text the group where we are, center of the ballroom. Anton's acting weird.
We weren't that far from you guys, right? I mean, y'all
Yeah.
would see us.
Yeah, and so
I just looked at them to
Yeah.
scry.
yeah, and you guys get that text as you're walking away from her.
Okay.
That they're in the middle of the ballroom and Anton's
I'll wave
acting
my phone
weird.
at them because they can see us.
Okay.
We're over here. We're on the
Yeah.
kind of the outskirts, yeah?
Mhm.
All right, well, I will motion them to come to us because
Yeah.
the middle of the ballroom is not a place to have a conversation.
Okay. I will... Anton, we're gonna go meet up with them. Yeah? And I'm just gonna start pushing him gently.
I'll actually, I'll meet you over there, and I'm going to slowly walk in that direction, like in her direction.
And as you're walking towards Tamika, 1,000 thoughts racing through your head. She looks so old now. She is seemingly pretty happy, though. Seems to be doing well. She's mobile. She just has a little walker with her. And the realization also with that messy critical starts to sink in that Tamika is currently in a room with a lot of kindred. There's a lot of danger in this room for her. So you guys see Anton walking away from you completely zoned out.
He was fine and started looking around, and now he's just walking that way.
I'm going to beeline for him.
All right.
And I'm going to grab him by the arm and say, "Not now, Anton."
Did you just walk up behind me and just suddenly grab me while I was having
Yes.
to stare at somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
He is at 3 hunger.
Go for it.
2 successes on a strength roll
Okay.
to just shove her off the moment that she tries to grab me.
I want to do one of my fortitude things now that I get to use it. So we'll do, let's do toughness, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To pretty much withstand him trying to shove you off.
Is that,
Yeah, so
was it toughness just like not taking damage or?
We're going to consider this her, like, not being shoved
Okay.
away from you.
Well, still shoving, still.
Anton, I promise you, whatever it is that you are looking at.
Mel, you have a wonderful habit of walking up to me right when I'm in the middle of doing something and telling me that I shouldn't do it when you have no idea what's going on. You did it at Violet Sin. You did it when I was talking with other people, such as Jackson. You did it now. Why do you have this incredible ability to find me when I'm in the middle of doing something that I know what I'm doing and tell me that it's a terrible idea with zero idea of what it is?
Because whatever it is that you're dealing with, so are me and Thomasina.
Guaranteed not.
I guarantee so.
I'm going to go between them and just say, let him bloodhound for a minute. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to wave both of them off, and I'm going to go away from everybody.
Okay.
I'm just going to find somewhere to be.
And I'm just going to turn really quick to Anton and just say, just meet us by the door.
Which one?
The front door.
Okay. And I'll walk away from her and over to Tanika.
Okay. And so you walk up, and she's got an older gentleman standing beside her, around the same age, looks to possibly be a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a younger man standing beside the husband, probably a son. And they're talking with another family.
I'm gonna mingle around, just sort of listen, see if there's something of interest, see what they're talking about, and also just sort of kind of keeping an eye.
They're just talking about local politics, really happy with our new senators, and she's just thrilled that George is blue.
Just as a quick note, still going to try and get us to hang in the room, and just if it looks like he's going to beeline anywhere, let's just try and, like, make sure that's by the front door that we meet at.
I'm not around for you to tell me that.
That's
I'm
true.
gone.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I am
I'm
gone.
talking to Aaron.
Yeah.
About just sticking
Yeah.
around and keeping an eye, and I'm just gonna say-
Thomasina and Aaron are keeping an eye on things.
Gotcha.
Of the 3 of them that are talking to this other family, which one is the least engaged with the
The
conversation?
son.
The son?
He's in his early 20s and seems to not really care about politics too much.
So just sort of keeping an eye, because because the effects of Scar of the Soul would still be up for a bit. Just keeping an eye on like how many kindred and whatnot. And,
In this conversation, they are all kind.
yeah, but I mean like around them, in like the area of the
There
room.
is, with your messy critical, rolling with that, there are enough kindred that it is quite stressful.
Exactly. So because of that, I'm just gonna let Tamika and who I think is her husband talk and just sort of like sidle over next to the son and just go. It's a little boring, yeah.
And he kind of sips his champagne to guise his own mouth and goes, "Shit, yeah."
Why hang around?
Sure, anywhere but here. What's up? My name's Tom.
Hi, Tom. I'm Semyon. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Where are you from?
Uh,
And he just kind of starts walking with you.
from I'm walking, but not too far away because I'm still
Yeah.
taking a look. From Moscow.
I was gonna study there, and then I really fucking hate snow. I
Me too.
like the South.
What brings you here,
Oh no, my mom.
Mom?
Yeah, she's really invested in the community, and then I wanted to leave for college, but She was willing to pay for Oglethorpe, so
Yeah.
stay for Oglethorpe.
I mean, yes, it's good. It's good school.
Yeah.
What are you studying?
I really don't know yet, man.
No.
No, I'm doing the basics. I took like a little bit of a sabbatical. I backpacked around England and Europe and that area for a while. But I just started, so starting my basics. I'll figure out my major at some point.
And no interest, no like family interest that gonna steer you. Usually that's how it goes. I got into my field because family let me.
Well, what do you do?
I was in history for a while.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like geography because I like backpacking, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But not so much art.
No, I really don't care. This
Oh.
just feels like a bunch of shit on a canvas and people pay way too much for it.
Makes sense. I'm faking like looking at Tamika back canvas. She's your mother, you said.
Yeah,
Apologies. How old are you?
I'm 19. I'm adopted. Sorry.
Oh, I see. That makes much more sense.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mental math. Trying to.
Nah, she did like a career day at my school
Mhm.
when I was with my foster family, and she adopted me. I was like 6.
That makes sense.
Yeah, she's really nice though.
She always want kids. Hey.
Hmm?
Nothing. Forget about that. I'm going to use cloud memory on him in that moment, and
Okay.
following up immediately. Yeah. Yeah. For hunger. Following immediately with mesmerized to go. This is incredibly boring. Why don't you see if maybe you can convince your parents to just head home with all 3 of you?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, really.
Yeah. And then
It's getting late. She's gonna have to take her Metamucil soon.
yeah. Go ahead and take your parents home safely.
Yeah. Not a bad idea. Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too. Shake his hands. I'm gonna like fade, like step back, let him walk towards, and just sort of like watch to see him like get them out.
And Anton at 4 hunger, as you're looking at Tamika, she's not safe here. He better be able to get her home,
That's why I haven't left.
or you could make her safe forever.
No, I
You
can't.
could make sure that no harm ever comes to her.
No, I can't.
And that pain of hunger is clawing up your throat. And it burns.
I know that I'm in a paranoia at the moment, but does it look like people are actually like looking at me?
No.
Then I'm going to reach into my pouch and I'm going to pull the flask out from in there, and I'm going to down the entire thing to take a hunger off.
Yes. So you'll go back down to 3.
And like, I'm at a point where I don't care if somebody looks at me like some drunk in the art exhibit, just whole things down.
There are people going around with champagne, so a flask is not terribly uncouth.
Stabilizing and watching, make sure that they get out.
Hmm.
Mm.
And they do head out. It takes her a while with her walker, but she is slowly but surely on her way out. As for Mel, where did you stalk off to?
Bathroom.
Bathroom.
In a stall.
Okay. Aaron and Thomasino, what are you two doing?
What did you find out?
Miss Cambrick is herself, of course, kindred. And she represents owners that just collected these pieces that she curated. She said that she would be happy to give some information to the owners, and that if they were up for selling those particular items, that we would be buyers.
Had you met her before?
No, I had not.
Do you know how many of these other paintings could be
I
profiles?
I do not. Did Anton say anything?
No, he zeroed in like he does sometimes, and I couldn't shake him.
There's nothing here that you've seen that's been one thing or the other.
The only painting that I ever contributed was at the World of Coke, and it was rejected.
I recall.
It's not here. That's fine. I don't imagine I guess paintings are fine, but no photographs of me, anyways.
Was it a painting that did he go for?
It
or-
was a.
I mean, he just went for that family.
Yeah, maybe someone. I mean, you guys are finding people or things from your past of you. Maybe he saw someone that connected.
That's what I'm wondering. And there's nothing. I mean, I grant you.
Aaron, please make me a wits awareness.
Oh, shoot.
Oh wait.
3.
Patrick's here with his family, his new little one.
You know, I think there's a little something here for everybody. One of my former night shift people, Kine, is here. That's a very strange coincidence. 4 out of 4.
I don't like it. I didn't like it when it was 2 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, I don't think you should talk to them. I'm sorry. I don't know if you wanted to, but
It's
do you want me to check in on them really quickly?
no. It's good enough knowing that he's okay, his family's okay. That part of me is still out there, so that's enough. There's no risk exposing him to anything.
Thomasina, your phone buzzes.
And I check it.
It is a message from a number you don't recognize, but it says, "Hi, this is Dolores. Are you still at the art gallery?"
Miss Camberg is wondering if we're still here.
I think we're gonna be here a while. Do you need an escort to?
No, I'm just wondering if we are still here. There's probably no point in
Yeah.
deliberating. I'm just gonna text her back. Why, yes! Exclamation point.
Okay, and soon you do see her walking out, and she looking around, just, oh. And she comes up to you, and she goes, okay, now, first, they are willing to sell. Price is a little steep. I don't know what you consider inappropriate. For the handmaiden picture, they would like 13 grand.
Ah, alright.
And for the town picture that your friend wanted, they would like 8.
Understood.
Feel free to deliberate. Since I've texted you, you have my number now.
Of course.
And you said your name was Tommy, correct?
Tommy, yes. Yeah.
Okay. And she reaches into the pocket of her very kind of loud watercolor, the kind of cardigans that all curators have, and pulls out a small envelope. And she hands it to you. She said, there was a patron that when I was looking for you earlier, they had to rush off, and they said if I saw the woman in the red cloak to hand this to you. I think they were looking for you and they couldn't find you. But here, and I'll go let them know that you're thinking on it.
Thank you so much, Miss Camberg.
You're welcome. Enjoy your rest of the night. Have fun.
Absolutely.
And she takes off back to the offices.
And I just kind of,
More surprises.
I don't like this.
Do you want me to check it for bugs, or it's an envelope?
Can you check it for... I don't know what you can check it for, if I'm completely honest, but
Yeah.
can you check it?
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
And I'm just going to hold on to this for a second. I'm just going to... Let's get the others
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Once I've seen that the family's gone away, I'm heading towards the general direction that Thomasina told me to go.
Okay, and Mel, you've been in the bathroom for a little bit now. How you doing?
Not good.
Not good.
Yeah. That composure and resolve roll might have been good, but Mel's still not holding together. So she is by herself in a bathroom sitting on the floor.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot her a text and just say, let's get. Just not even finish it. Like,
It's going to be left on red.
Okay. And so everybody comes back together. You guys find Anton. Mel still nowhere to be found.
Everything all right?
Yeah, we're fine.
You're looking a little shaky. Do we need to ask Alpha how people are feeding?
Faces from the past. I will be fine.
Okay.
Wouldn't begrudge taking off the edge, though. Where did Mel go?
I texted her a second ago. We
Mhm.
need to. I would love to get on with our evening, if at all possible.
The woman that you were talking to is one of us, by the way. I saw before I walked off.
Mel also informed me. Gloves, I guess.
I suppose, did you get the paintings?
I
or-
got a price for both of them. They're willing to part for them for less than I expected, and frankly, for mine, that's insulting.
How much is Mel's?
100,000.
8,000.
That's not bad.
It's not. It's not.
No. I might have most of that from the statue send out.
That's less. I'm glad to have the number and the price.
Mm.
We may end up getting that very, very soon. It could be a longer battle than not.
Okay.
But that's less of my concern right now.
Can I take a gander around the gala to see the known kindred? Are any of them drinking not Chardonnay?
A couple of them are kind of fake holding Chardonnay, you know, kind of putting it in their mouth and then spitting it in a garbage can, or putting it up to their lips and then just miraculously it's not a lower
Right.
amount. You know, they're fake drinking.
Okay, but no special red tea equivalent.
No.
All right.
We need to get out of here.
Okay.
I'm going to go. Did anyone see where Mel went?
She's-
Restroom.
Restroom. Okay.
Yeah, I can.
I'm gonna go head for the restroom then.
Okay.
I'll stand with Aaron.
And so you get to the restroom and there's Mel sitting on the floor
I'm in a stall.
in a stall, but you
Yeah.
can see
shoes.
somebody
Yeah.
sitting.
Mel, I know you're not using that.
Your point?
Would you be happier in the car?
No.
What would you be happier with right now?
France.
Would you be happy if we walked away with the painting as soon as tonight?
And she's gonna sniffle and wipe the blood from her face and, stand up and do what she can. And, I mean, obviously blood does not come off your face very easily, so.
No, but you're used to having some little travel makeup wipes in your purse.
Yeah, so I'm cleaning myself up. No. No. And then she's just gonna clean up, go past Thomasina and head out. And just head out to the gallery.
And so you all get out together. Are you heading out of the gallery now?
Yes, I am anyway.
Yeah, once the group is back together, just sort of silently follow.
And so you all head out and back towards the Escalade. What of that envelope, Thomasina?
I'm gonna open it once we get inside.
Okay, so once you're in the car, you open the envelope,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a folded card that says, "Hello, shepherds. Don't you think it's time we had a little chat? I promise to only cause a little trouble." Capitalized. See you soon. And that is where we are going to take our break. We'll be back in a few minutes, so stick with us. It's about to get really interesting. Welcome back. So, you guys have received your card from someone promising to only cause a little trouble, with little and trouble capitalized.
I'm in the front seat, by the way. I
Yeah.
did not sit back there with them.
So, Thomasina, are you going to tell them what this card says?
Yes, I am.
That is unsettling.
And I'm just gonna hand it over. It's like it's capitalized.
I go around Atlanta a lot. Do I recognize this on sight, or is this something I have to like think about?
Seeing it capitalized, you're like, I think there's a bar called that.
Yeah, it's like
There absolutely is. It's right below Marcel's, and I've been to Marcel's more than a few times. Bless you.
Bless you.
well, it's a little on the nose, but
Who is it from again?
Don't know.
I can possibly find out, but I may need to eat following that. I'm a little on the edge, and I have gone through my supply.
Little Trouble is a club, restaurant.
It's a restaurant bar. It's tiny, kind of a Japanese future Blade Runner sort of deal.
A lot of neon.
Lot of neon.
Okay.
Can see it from the sky. Sort of.
Thomasina, are you willing to help me out if I need to eat a bit more? If I find out who this belongs to?
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna do a spirits touch on the letter C.
Okay.
I don't get hungry, so is that.
He's like,
Okay. Now. 1, 2, 3. 5 successes.
5 successes.
Yes.
And remind me what Spirit's Touch gives you?
Spirits touch gives me detail of the last, like emotional residue and like identity of like the last person that interacted with the object or visited a location.
Okay.
I gain insight into the person, what was done, under what circumstances,
Okay.
stuff like that. It's not like super clear, but like.
So the last person to handle this was Dolores Camberg, a kindred,
Oh, actually, sorry.
a museum curator.
Yeah. Sorry, but it's also it's a margin on a difficulty that you set, and each bit above the margin gives me steps back.
Of person?
Of person, like the next person, the next person, the next person.
Okay.
So I don't know what the difficulty
Dolores
is.
Camberg.
Okay.
She took a note and was instructed to hand it to Thomasina. All the residual you get off of it is her scribbling down a note on the phone, and then
Okay, it was dictated, so I get that at least. Okay.
yeah, you get that this was a dictated note
Okay.
that
helps.
was requested. You can hear her, in this thought, repeating, "Yes, I'll make sure it's a private message. Thank you."
What's the reason?
and I'm just chit-chatting with Mark.
Send it back. Unfortunately, not much use when the message is dictated to the person that gave you the note.
Do we have?
And right now we're heading home, right? Is that right?
We're just-
In the Escalade?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Mark's he's waiting.
Yeah.
He's waiting to be told where to go, but he's like just kind of chatting with you about like, "Would you see him there? Is it cool?"
Do we have any eyes and ears in that part of town?
That is over in Georgia Tech area.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, that
Near Marietta Street, yeah.
yeah, Dr. Mendez is at Georgia Tech, but I don't know if she's in the area or
Well,
not.
not
In
necessarily.
terms of Primogen, that would mostly be Dot's territory,
Okay.
Yes.
as Dot is more. The entrance to the Nosferatu Haven is the Art Center station, so that general area in Georgia Tech is considered her domain.
We just left her at the art museum, as far as we're aware.
And we still.
Yeah, as far as you guys saw on the way out, the strange woman that was Dot in disguise was still there.
She was in good mood.
And have any of you been in touch with Hex?
Haven't heard the word from her.
Storyteller? Have we? When was the last time we heard from Hex?
General text message check-in. She's fine, but she's still handling her own stuff.
I'm not going to disturb her right now, but I really wish we had someone who had some eyes on security cameras and the like over there right now. Otherwise, my next move here is to call the vet and go and find whatever there is to find there.
Might as well. I mean, whoever this is, they know us well enough to dictate a message to tell us very explicitly where to go. So,
Any concerns that I should probably be aware of before we go?
dozens.
Well, yes, but anything from our two silent partners over here.
I am not listening to this conversation. I have completely checked out.
Yeah, Mark's just
Yeah, we're just
chatting and
having
laughing
a
with you.
conversation. I'm not listening to anything they're saying.
Earlier this year, I fed from Alejandro.
And then I'm gonna.
It's been long enough that it was just once.
Mm-hmm.
It was long enough that any blood bond that was there is dissipated.
Good.
And he is not the only La Sombra in Atlanta.
I am not surprised given what happened at the nightclub, but you know this for a fact.
Yes, young woman. That's all I have.
Storyteller, would I have any insight into how the court dealt with Alejandro after the elections?
It was given that the Scourges would keep an eye on him and
Okay.
try to monitor his movements, but there have been no reports yet. He's staying at a house.
He's been allowed to stay in the city limits, though.
Yes.
Okay.
But he is being heavily monitored
I see.
because they are trying to use him as bait for the SI.
But I would not have had the intel that he had been to
Right.
see him. Okay.
Nobody noticed that night that Aaron went.
I'm better now. I'm not glitching as much as I was. And things are in a better state of mind. But if this is a La Sombra thing or a non-Camarilla thing, this could just be them reaching out through other means.
It's definitely a less conventional mean, but I see some potential there in it being a written note and not something that's a typical text or an email to us. So,
This is true. It doesn't fall in line with the other notes that the Primogen received,
oh, that's right.
but I mean, this is very directly for us.
And I'm gonna whip back around and say, "Let's just go and see what there is to see. Can't be any worse than the night's already been." And I'm gonna tell Mark to go where he goes.
Mark's just very awkward. He's like, so we're...
Little trouble, please. Marietta Street.
Okay. And he just turns on the radio to NPR, but turns it down just enough for him. And he pulls out, very uncomfortable with the conversation right now.
Sort of typically call those famous last words.
Yeah, well, wouldn't be the last time I said some last words. Or it wouldn't be the first time.
Hopefully not the last either, yeah?
Hopefully.
Mel's not going to respond to that.
Aaron, your phone buzzes
Great.
as the car pulls away.
I check it.
Text from the same number.
Okay.
Got my eyes on you, big brother. Stay safe.
What's your name?
And you get back.
And I save that as the contact info.
While he's texting and she's ignoring, I'm just gonna look over at Thomasina and go, if you wouldn't terribly mind, if we're going into something I'm not aware of, I would like to not be.
Do you have a vessel with you?
Yes, but it is going to be kind of difficult. I'm gonna hold up the narrow mouthed flask.
Were they talking loud enough that at least I could kind of hear it? I mean, I don't have...
No, with the NPR in front of you and then me in the back seat.
Because he's got a Starbucks cup right here we can use.
I don't terribly mind.
With some precision, you could make it work.
I'm going to bite into my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to take the flask. I'm just going to try and just drain into...
Okay. So it does take a minute, but you fill it up. If you could please go up one hunger.
Mm.
handy,
Always.
and I will go down under.
All right. And so you will go down.
Mm-hmm.
Thomasina goes up. And so you guys pull up to the parking deck that is next to Little Trouble. And Mark lets you out. Kind of towards the entrance so that you don't have to walk all the stairs and walk through the parking deck. And when you walk up to the stairs that lead down, you see a nice little thoroughway between two shopping buildings. And at the end is a bright neon cyberpunk looking sign with LT, indicating that you are indeed at the right place. Walking further towards it, for those of you that haven't been here before, you can see glass walls on either side. To the left is a bar, chiefly with blue neon, and to the right is a lounge area. More seats and short tables, more heavy red neon, and a side adjunct room onto that lounge to expand out the lounge. The bar is decently packed, not really enough to have difficulty moving through, but it's populated enough that you would brush past people trying to get through. And as you approach the alley, there is a podium with the bouncer, and he holds up his hand and says, IDs.
And I'm just...
Yeah, I'll dig mine out.
Okay.
I still
Yeah,
have
same as well.
still have my original.
I'm going to try and use Mesmerize and just say you've seen it. Full Jedi mind trick.
Okay.
Yep.
Please make me the appropriate rolls.
Yep.
He is an unsuspecting human, so...
Just rouse.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that should be that. You're good.
All right, so yeah, he says, all right, come on in.
Just back in the pocket and just follow her.
And he lets you in, and the music is going decently loud, crowd chattering, stale smell of booze down this hallway coming every time the door opens on either side. And you can even see like small plates going around, just small like little appetizers. The menus, the glasses, everything that you can see from everywhere, all is kind of building its own story. The menus appear to be a plot as you can see them as they walk by. It looks like you've walked into a completely different world back here.
Has anyone been here before?
Yes, and I was very disappointed that I was the way I am now, not able to actually try much of anything.
Oh.
If I were setting a trap, I would probably go to the room with the nice big villain couch in the middle, wouldn't you think?
This place has everything.
And I think in particular, could actually, just double checking, we don't recognize anyone here so far yet, do we?
Storyteller?
So far, no. Look around.
Really
You can make
dark.
wits and awareness.
Jeez.
3.
3.
2.
I don't know why I did that. Okay.
Nobody here that you guys recognize. It's a generic night. It's just kind of smaller groups of people hanging out.
Gotcha.
I'm going to text Mark. Stay on our 6. Keep your eyes peeled. Report back if you see anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. And you get back thumbs up.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm going to look over at the giant villain couch in the center of that other room.
Yeah, through the glass.
That back room is a bit darker, so you would need to go into the lounge area to make your way back into the lounge,
Okay.
into the extra lounge.
Yeah.
So right now you are standing in the alleyway. You can either go into the door to the left of the bar or into the door to the right to the lounge and follow that bay door into the back.
Right, as I said,
Lounge to...
I would be setting trap in this one and not jam-packed, hard to actually say the monologuing bit, yeah? But who knows?
Yeah, let's go into the lounge.
Sure. Before we walk in, I'm going to turn on Oblivion Sight, just so I can see a bit more clearer in the dark.
Okay. So yeah, now that it's a bit more clear to you, the neon is very bright. And Now the only thing really impeding your vision is just that there's a lot of people here.
Gotcha.
It is a Saturday night.
Okay. Turn it off.
All right. Then we go in and we see. I'm gonna kind of just look around like I'm looking for our table. Just like, oh yeah, it's around here somewhere.
Okay. And so as you push through the crowd, kind of just, every now and then somebody bumps into you. Somebody maybe spills their beer a little bit just from hopping into you. And so you make your way to the back, and in the corner booth, you see Dolores. But her purple dress is hiked up, exposing her very large knee-high combat boots that she has kicked up on the table. And where she had a cardigan earlier, you see exposed arms with sharp, pointed ridges running down the shoulders and down to her elbows. From her neck, you see hanging a bloodied rosary of brass and amethysts. Her jaw's different, her cheekbones, her lips, everything's a little bit different than you remember. Her eyes are a pitch solid black, and everything about her appearance is only what you could describe as sharp. And there are 4 kindred with her, 2 on each side.
Just gonna look at this. Look
And
behind.
she's just kicked back.
Look behind us. See, like, does this room just seem to be off limits to everybody else? Nobody else is coming in this way or even bothering to look in here.
Everybody's milling about, but nobody seems to be calling attention to her presence. And she spots you all.
I just like charge right ahead of everybody, so let's just get this over with and just charge right on up.
No.
No.
Nope.
Let her.
Welcome.
And I'm gonna extend my hand and say, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you again, too. And I meant what I said about the paintings. Sit. I wanted to meet you all formally and chat.
And I'm going to sit down.
This is your formal.
This is my kind of formal.
I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to be looking at the rosary on her neck.
Okay. Aaron?
I'll sit down, and in my hand, I'm going to prep or prime a feral weapons.
Okay.
I do not get hungry.
All right.
So you're formal. This is, you've got some friends with you here. This seems infinitely more comfortable for a number of reasons.
Oh, these are just some friends of mine. I like to make sure that when I am meeting 4, I have 4. Word on the street is that when it comes to who actually controls the kindred populace around here and decides who can stay and who can go, comes down to your little coterie. So, I wanted to formally introduce myself.
I don't think we have that much power, but I'm glad to make your acquaintance.
And I'm intrigued by the rumor. What, I can imagine, is your real name?
My name is Bishop Lydia. Pleasure to meet you all. I used to live here, oh God, what has it been? Way too many years.
20 years?
Oh,
Maybe
no.
more?
Back in probably like the 60s or 70s. I absolutely loved it. I loved it here in Atlanta. Then, fell in love, moved off to Greece. Gave it all up for a beautiful pair of eyes. You know how it goes.
Uh-huh. Dark eyes?
Well, yes. Not really fond of blue eyes. They don't do it for me.
No.
But given that relationship ran its course, Atlanta seemed like a nice place to come home to, and you all have taken such good care of it, it does seem. Just didn't realize how much I missed my home, so I'm glad to be back. And since I hear that when there are little, what they call them, lost child or whatever, that you all are the one to find them and bring them in, putting you in a much powerful position in this city. I don't really care for introducing myself to princes. It's not my style. But as you all appear to be the ones that actually care for this city, I thought it best we met.
What brought you back?
The relationship ended. I got no reason to be in Greece with a man that don't love me.
And where are you staying?
I got a little place over in, what was that city? And she leans over, and one of them whispers to her, she goes, Mableton. I'm out in Mableton. I figured it was better than being inner city, given that you lot control it.
Have you met any of the other prominent kindred?
Of course she has. Don't you remember?
Hmm?
Don't you remember? Oh no, you weren't there. She has met she's met a friend of ours. One of the scourges.
Yes, unfortunate as that was. Your prince is humorous. Too much like my ex-husband. I met him and his little scourge. They decided to torch all my new recruits in the house of the Lord. Barbaric, really, but well, we can't win them all.
So, your friends here, have they been in Atlanta long? I'd love to meet them. Or do they matter to you at all, as much as the lost children clearly matter to you?
Oh, the lost child, it don't matter to me at all. I want what any kindred wants. I want to live in peace, free, and unimpeded, to do as I will and as Cain intended.
Mm.
We are kind made perfect, my darling. All I want is to live in my home, myself.
Mm.
I imagine that means that I'm gonna have to jump through a series of hoops for you all to give a shit. So, line them up, my beautiful circus leaders.
I'd love to know the ones that you jumped through to get here.
A plane,
Mm-hmm.
and then a car.
Mm-hmm. Whose car? Whose plane?
Delta, and Enterprise. Are you old enough that rental cars are not familiar to you, darling?
I'm old enough to know that there's no way that you got in here completely without friends.
Oh no, dear, it's not about friends. It's about being able to tell a really good lie.
I wonder what makes you think that we wouldn't tell the prince of your presence.
He already knows.
He has known. For
He
some
met
months.
me. He's not very fond of, well, I should clarify if I read his words correctly. Your prince hates me, but he would fuck the shit out of me, I believe were his exact words.
Unfortunately, sounds like him.
There's your proof. He knows I'm here.
He didn't know that you were there, though, this evening. Clearly.
No, I imagine not.
So there is a reason why you're hiding from him?
No. It's a fashion thing, really. I don't like to wear the same face twice.
And it's a little bit of a standout thing to go to a art gallery showing like this. And I'm just-
And what was the purpose
Gesture.
of the whole shindig at the
Oh, that
By-
was an actual job. That I do actually have a side job.
You didn't curate that.
No, that's their collection. I just put it on display. I'm very fond of art.
Mm.
This is a Camarilla city.
Indeed.
I imagine you'd have to give up a few things and
Considering
follow.
I live in Mableton and not Atlanta, I don't think I have to give up a damn thing.
You're here in this city, though.
She still calls herself Bishop.
which implies a following.
Not necessarily.
And they're all dead.
Oh, are they? I'm looking at 4 people right here that I do not know who they are, but it doesn't seem to be just your bar buddies.
And as you guys have talked, you've noticed that aside from the one whisper, they have not moved. They don't seem to be acknowledging the conversation. They're not acknowledging the crowd. They are just sat perfectly still.
A bishop without a congregation, but a church.
Just a flock of sheep.
No,
It's a
no.
proper title, and I like to maintain my proper title as I fucking earned it.
Oh, I bet.
I did. Greece was lovely.
Is there anything in particular? You just wanted to meet us, is that right?
Yes, as I said, I've met your prince.
Mhm.
I really don't care for just some manly man running the city who decides to throw disgusting pleasantries at women he meets.
Well, what about us did you want to know? I mean, if you didn't put all that display together earlier, then clearly you must have several questions.
I invited you so that you could see that I wouldn't burn the house down that you walk into.
Uh-huh. Yet?
You have a reason to not trust me, and I appreciate it. I really do.
There's a bit of a track record to be considered.
I'm well aware I survived it too. Greece wasn't as tragic as I hear Atlanta was, but Atlanta is still my home. It was my home before this life, and it will be my home after.
So you live in Mableton,
Yes.
but you want to come back to Atlanta.
I would like free passage in and out of the city to conduct any business that I wish, given that I do have jobs with the museum.
I see.
And my request, because my little birds have told me just exactly what happens to your lost children that are like me. I request, dear shepherds, that you find any that are like me, you relinquish them to me, or you kill them. Because Chantilly Harris torturing their very personality out of their brain is not something I brook.
Appears we have a bit of a conflict of interest in job description then.
Your job is to find them.
And
I
to
heard
give-
what you did to Catherine.
Job is to find them and bring them into the fold.
You killed Catherine effectively. I imagine you can kill any that would be of no use to me.
We didn't kill Catherine for anybody. And
No, but you sure did it in a thorough manner.
We are not in the business of killing lost child or whatever their affiliation may be.
I'm asking you to kill them if they are a lost cause.
A lost cause to whom?
To you.
nobody is a lost cause.
Are you
Fair.
aware of what happens when you take ones in that you have foolishly told Olivia Grace or Sabat?
Yes.
Have you watched it?
Not yet.
Have you watched as Tilly straps them to a chair and spends days pulling their very soul out of their brain, rewriting it and shoving it back in like Cinderella's ugly stepsisters?
Not yet, but if you'd like to share which of your little birds is giving you the information, I would be very happy to see it myself.
I have birds everywhere.
It's interesting that you say the ones that are a lost cause. The ones that are of no use to us? Was that how you termed it?
My belief, from my information, is that your job is to take the ones that can be reformed and reform them and return them to your proper Camarilla society. The ones that can't, you allow Tilly to rewrite them. But there are ones in the middle. And I think all of you can understand that. All I want is to live free.
So do they.
Exactly.
We give them the tools to do so.
Have you ever been rewritten? Have you let Tilly inside of your brain?
No.
I assure you, you would crave death.
This is not a
kindness I am asking.
This is not a willy-nilly feat that she can simply do on a whim. This is a very deliberate and practiced method, and it is one that we do not conduct on people in the middle. As you said, the lost causes, the ones that
If they are
it is
so
this
gone,
or death.
if they are so gone that Tilly is to rewrite them, what I am requesting is the kindness to end them before they have that suffering. That is my wish as a bishop.
And the ones in the middle?
Back to me.
No.
We can negotiate that part.
I think that we are all bound by the Camarilla doctrine to decline your request.
And which tradition is that, little one?
The one that was written in the ashes of the fire. Caused by...
I wasn't in Atlanta.
But you wish to take up the mantle of those that were? Do you
No,
not?
I have no purpose. I have no purpose to do anything with Atlanta.
Then why claim your title here and wish to have your
I claim
sheep
nothing.
back to your fold?
I claim nothing. I earned being a bishop, and I will wear that title until my own final days.
But you want Gilder.
No. I want the persecution of the Camarilla to stop. If there are ones that are indeed orphaned and have no will with the Sabbat, I know that Atlanta got rather overzealous with their embraces. There are many that may regret it, may no longer wish to be a part of it, or honestly probably had no idea what even happened to them in the first place. Those are all yours. But for the ones who believe in Cain, the ones that wish no harm and simply only want to live their way and not under an oppressive ivory tower, they can join me out in Mapleton. My only true request is to kill any that are signed up for rewrite. I'm not expecting an answer right now. I expect you all to continue looking at me with these looks of absolute fucking hatred. And I expect you all to go home and talk about all the ways that you would graphically love to kill me. But I would like an answer in at least a week.
I think you mistake my look for hatred. I'm more baffled.
It's hard to read. Your face is very beautiful.
You know, coming in as the oppressed and not the oppressor is a powerful stance for people who you know take up the mantle of being the savior of children.
Yes, that's why I trusted you all. You think Alpha, Prince Alpha, is going to actually have a logical political discussion? You know, before he bends me over a table to fuck the shit out of me. Not saying I disagree. He's an attractive man. Nevertheless, it's inappropriate.
He's not the only one that runs the city.
In your Camarilla, he's the final word. And I can't trust the people on your court.
Have you met them as well?
I know of plenty of them.
Then you know there are two in this room.
Yes. But the primogen of my concern.
Why is that?
Because I know Chantilly Harris.
Yes, I've gathered.
I've seen what she can do.
And I've seen what happened to her when Catherine passed.
Catherine, a bishop in her own right.
I don't think that Tilly is...
How much do you know about Tilly? While we're being honest.
I know enough to know that she went through hell herself when Catherine died. So I don't think she enters into anyone's mind, anyone's soul.
I felt my own child or die. Do you have pity for me?
I might. If you weren't asking us for...
What has Tilly asked of you? How much do you really know Tilly?
She certainly hasn't asked us to euthanize any of her childer.
No. But she knew exactly what Catherine was. And she counted on you all not finding out who she is.
Enlighten us, since you clearly want to.
I think it's more fun if you find out, honestly.
don't want to see our reactions? Watch the shock wash over us?
No, contrary to popular belief, I'm not really into the whole BDSM scene.
But she also knows that we're not ready to accept a damn thing she says to us.
Exactly. I could tell you exactly who Tilly Harris is right now.
Mm-hmm. What would it matter?
You'd call me a liar, you wouldn't believe it, whatever. It's better if you find out in your own time and your own way.
Mm.
And I guarantee you, Madam Elizabeth Proctor is well aware of it as well. Those two are awfully dirty at keeping secrets.
And say we do make the unilateral decision to allow you passage through Atlanta.
I merely wish to conduct my job freely.
Hmm.
Unimpeded. I will not even feed within your city limits. Anything ITP, as they say.
If that is the case, then why did our now Prince and Scourge find you in a church within the city limits with however many it was that they dispatched?
Hmm.
What were you doing here if you just wish to come and go as you please?
I was trying to gather those that found me. I came into the city. It was a central location for the rest of them. I had no idea of the full Camarilla hold that this city had. I merely returned to my hometown. Imagine my surprise when good old Smokey and the Bandit decided to start lighting us up. I picked a church near and dear to my heart.
Hopefully not too dear.
It was. I love that stained glass.
A week, you said.
Preferably, if you need more time, you can simply let me know. I would like to stress, as you all are furious with me, where I have invited you tonight. I could have asked you to meet me in an Elysium and guarantee that you can't do shit to me. I could have invited you somewhere highly dangerous. I'm meeting you in public, where I am just as weak as you. You could kill me right here, right now. End all of it. And
Well-
I'm sure you'd love to.
Well, and I'm going to look around at the people that are clearly not paying attention in this direction and the people that are sitting around her that are not focused on us. Just as weak, maybe a misnomer.
I find in my history with the Camarilla, it sends a better message if I request a meeting not in an Elysium. It means it shows you that I am prepared to die if you don't like what I say.
I will give you that. It is a step above the last invitation request that we had.
Still, you said if you're meeting 4, you'd rather there also be 4. So what say those beside you?
Oh, they have no idea what's going on.
Uh-huh.
These are ghouls. I pay them to not pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will take care of everything they heard later.
Mm-hmm.
You'll forgive me at least a little bit of security.
No, that's... Of course.
4 against 1's hardly not fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I came here prepared to die if you don't like what I say. All I request is that you think it over.
I'm going to take a step up to the table because I haven't sat down yet, like more towards her side.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Think it over.
Think it over. And she goes to shake your hand.
I'll take it.
Oh no.
Hmm?
Right before she shakes it, she pulls her hand back and goes, "No, I know you're the Tremere. I'm smarter than that." You, though, you're a curious one to me. You have been a naughty little boy, haven't you?
When I hear that, and when I hear ghoul, I'm going to turn on Shadowcast and extend my shadow just to get a reaction of the negative willpower towards one of the ghouls, just under the table.
Okay. And...
You're good.
3 hunger.
Okay. And the hunger is pulling at you right now, but your shadow does kind of wrap around the leg of one of the ghouls, and you can see they're getting a little bit more pale from it.
I'll let up.
Okay. Says, trust me, I've done my research. I know about all of you. Part of meeting you is being impressed with who you are. So, Bruhan Politics, I actually went back and watched some of your CNN specials. Fantastic work. I never would have expected it. No offense to your clan, but they haven't really been political since Carthage.
And then I came along.
And came along you did, dear.
I'm going to extend my hand to shake it. She should know that there is nothing going to be there just beside a shake.
Oh, yeah. and she gives you a very, good, firm handshake. She goes, might I ask, Miss Thomasina, why did you want that painting? Well, both of you, really. You wanted to buy the paintings. Did you really like them that much? I think they're actually quite not as great as they could be.
Oh, they're subpar. Don't get me wrong, I recognize it.
Absolutely. The prices were, frankly, an insult to someone wishing to purchase a painting from a gallery showing.
13,000.
Where did they accumulate these from?
I'm trying to remember where they bought those specific pieces. I can't even recall. I'm brought in like a freelancer, one would say. It's easier for me to keep to myself.
Bishop, how much would you pay for a portrait of yourself?
I thought it looked familiar. Yes, I can see it now. Your hair's a little different and the lighting kind of obscures you, but I can see it now.
It was a genuine question, though. How much would you pay for a portrait of yourself?
Easily 20. Minimum. 13's a steal. You should take it.
Let's see. Early Atlanta work. Also oils, also canvas. The things that you can make of yourself over time.
Of course.
In your case, clearly no time at all.
Would you like some help, dear? Something to make sure no further artists inspired by the muse of your beauty.
I had choices through the years of associating with certain people that had all the ability in the world to change my face, my name. I've kept it. I'd like
Very
to
well.
continue
I
to.
admire it. I admire the tenacity it takes to keep a face. I'm not really partial to it myself. But to each their own. To each their own. And yes, Anton.
While she's engaged and thus not focusing as much, I'm going to just try scrying the soul on her to see if I can pick up anything outside of
Okay.
the usual.
Here we go.
Do not get hungrier.
Every time.
I thought for sure it was going to be a critical failure.
I'm going to burn another willpower. Nope, nothing special. 4 successes.
She sure is kindred.
Yep. No.
And a Zemisi at that.
Yeah. I was aiming to see if I can get the critical, but it's one of the. I'm also looking for the things of like has committed diablerie in the last year, under the influence of any magics.
Has not committed diablerie, is not under the influence of magic.
And then really just sort of the general psyche of this person.
Very calm.
Yeah. Just aiming to see if I could pick up on something additional, but didn't hit that.
I'm going to try something stupid.
Okay.
I'm going to shake her hand and I'm going to attempt a premonition.
Okay. So if you could please first give me a rouse check as you are intentionally causing one.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, what are the rolls for that
Resolve
one?
aspects.
Yeah, make me resolve an aspects. Three. So it's a quick flash with only 3.
Mm.
You shake her hand and you see a Grecian town burning. And you hear a name. Allie. Allie, where are you?
I've had all I can stand for the night.
It's been a real pleasure meeting you.
And as you guys are beginning to say your goodbyes, you notice every patron in the entire lounge has turned, and they are all now staring at you. Even the ones in the bar that you can see through the glass, all have their eyes fixed on you. If you could all please make me wits and awareness.
One, two, three, four.
4.
And that's just one, right?
Nope.
1 success.
One.
What does that remind you again?
If you have 2 of those, then it's critical. If
Okay.
not, then you're fine.
So I've got 5.
4.
5. 4, 2, 2, and 1. So, Mel and Anton, as you're looking at the patrons, you notice suddenly groups of attire are matching, but they're kind of peppered throughout the crowd. Multiples of the same black jacket, multiples of the same color bandana, multiples of the same purple jeans, and so on. Every single patron here matches another patron in their look. And there's at least 6 different groups of matching attire.
Do they look like identical twins in the attire?
No.
Or different people?
Like
okay.
uniform.
Okay, I see.
And
So,
Lydia notices you all paying attention, and she smiles, her mouth full of long, sharp teeth, just grinning, and she says, I think it's time you ran home now. And that is where we are going to leave off for tonight. Thank you guys again so much for joining us. We love you guys. Make sure to keep an eye on our socials. We all have awesome projects coming up. Take care of yourselves and each other. Good night.